Welcome back everyone, this is going to be my Marvel Hawkeye deleted scenes alternate ending video. They also had an alternate post-credit scene, so I'll explain what's going on. There's a bunch of Easter eggs and a bunch of stuff that got cut from the finale, including a bunch of Daredevil stuff. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I'll be doing episode videos for the Book of Boba Fett, the Mandalorian spin-off series. That starts next week. But careful for spoilers from the Hawkeye finale if you haven't seen it yet, because we have to talk about what happened during that to talk about what didn't happen with all the deleted scenes and all the other crossovers that they were going to do. For those of you that were holding out for a Spider-Man crossover, I will address that as well too, because there were a lot of people that were theorizing that because of the timing of the way they end Spider-Man No Way Home, there could have been a Spider-Man crossover with the Hawkeye finale in Rockefeller Center here. But as far as I can tell, there was never a plan to have Spider-Man actually show up during the Hawkeye series. That's one of the few things that they had never planned to do. But there were a lot of other characters that were supposed to show up, and there was an entire post-credit scene that they filmed and then cut at the last minute. So during the actual Hawkeye ending, we saw Kate Bishop versus Kingpin. After her mother tried to destroy him with her car, Echo tried to kill him with a gunshot for revenge of her father's death during the 5-year time jump.
We're family. Sometimes family doesn't see eye to eye.
They finally revealed Hawkeye's wife is in fact the MCU Mockingbird like we'd suspected for a couple weeks, and then they tease Hawkeye giving Kate Bishop the Hawkeye name. Like, his whole idea was to just have her call herself Hawkeye, since his whole thing since Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, was that he was trying to formally retire from the Avengers and just live with his family on the farm. In the post-credit scene that we saw was just the Rogers Captain America musical full version of the Save This City song. They could do that all day, just the entire performance. But after the finale was released, they revealed a bunch of these deleted scenes and storylines from some of the major characters, mostly Kingpin related, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Kate's mother, and Hawkeye himself. They explained some of the missing details if you felt like there were some unanswered questions in the version that we saw. And a lot of the reason why some of these things got cut and why they just didn't include them in the finale is the same as what happened with the WandaVision finale. So I actually made this comment on my Twitter. It looks like the Hawkeye finale got WandaVisioned. If you didn't see any of my WandaVision alternate ending deleted scenes videos, there was a ton of stuff that got cut from the WandaVision finale, mostly because of all the problems they had filming it around the virus. A lot of actors that couldn't come back because of travel restrictions, a lot of subplots and storylines they just completely got rid of. So that's kind of what happened with the Hawkeye finale, just a lot of issues filming around the virus and them trying to just have a cohesive story in general. But the first big thing is Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in Daredevil was originally supposed to have a cameo scene in the Hawkeye series. My assumption is that it would have been in the finale, just a short scene as part of everything that they were doing with the Kingpin storyline. Just a tease, the Kingpin might be ruling over the criminal underworld of New York City, as he said, like it's time to remind people who rules this city. He may have gotten very powerful during that 5-year time jump when most of the superheroes had been snapped, but Daredevil was on him like red on blood, to make a Daredevil metaphor. Like yes, Kingpin is a huge threat now in the MCU, confirmed. Hawkeye kept calling him the big guy, kept talking to his wife about how dangerous he was and how he was afraid of him getting involved this whole time. But on the other side of the equation, they were going to let you know that Daredevil was on it. Like, don't worry too much, because he's building a new case against him as Matt Murdock lawyer during the day, and also at night going after him as Daredevil. But the main reason why Charlie Cox didn't show up, why you didn't see him anywhere, is because of scheduling problems around the other Marvel movies and Disney Plus shows they were using him in. That's right, they wanted Daredevil in the MCU so bad in so many other projects that because of all the travel restrictions during the virus, they just didn't have time to physically get him to the location where they were filming the Hawkeye series. That is what I call a champagne problem. Like, we want so much Daredevil that there's just not enough of him to go around. So careful for spoilers from Spider-Man No Way Home if you haven't seen the movie, just because we have to talk about some of the things that were happening during that movie with the special cameo scenes, a lot of the cool Easter eggs. During the movie, Charlie Cox has a cameo scene as Matt Murdock, lawyer, to help Peter Parker and the others with their legal problems regarding Mysterio and the drones. It was only one scene, it was really short, but it was amazing. The only real Daredevil moment that they had during that was when he catches the brick without turning his head and jokes to Spider-Man that he was able to do it because he's a really good lawyer. And he's not wrong, he is a really good lawyer. He just has incredibly heightened senses and abilities that's not too unlike the Spidey sense. It's not quite the same thing, but there are some similarities. Charlie Cox is also supposed to show up a lot during the She-Hulk episodes, which they've been filming this past year, so that's mostly where the conflict is, like them trying to use him in all these different things during Spider-Man No Way Home, during the She-Hulk episodes that they've been busy with. But the alternate post-credit scene that they filmed and ended up not using was of Hawkeye and Kingpin. They were going to have a scene after Echo tried to kill Kingpin where you see that he's alive and Hawkeye sends him the Ronin sword with a message to leave Kate Bishop alone and never come after his family or he'll come back and kill him. Hawkeye would come back to kill Kingpin. So if you wondered what happened to the Ronin sword after episode 5, because you don't really see it after Hawkeye used it on Echo, that's where it went. He sent it to Kingpin as a warning. There was another deleted scene that they actually posted to their Twitter account of him holding the Ronin sword as they were preparing for the final battle with the tracksuits at Rockefeller Center, building all the trick arrows. I think the main reason why they didn't use that Kingpin Hawkeye post-credit scene is because they wanted more mystery as to whether or not Kingpin survived Echo's gunshot. They probably felt like it would have taken some of the power of that scene away to show that he was alive 5 seconds later, like, oh, she kills him, wow, that's powerful, getting her revenge. Even though as fans, like we all read the comics, we can read subtext, we know that he's still alive. Like they wouldn't bring him back for a couple quick scenes just to kill him right off. So if you're wondering why the Hawkeye finale didn't have a more legit post-credit scene, that's why. They filmed it, but then just decided it was too much and swapped in the Hawkeye musical scene at the last second. There was also a whole deleted subplot with Kate Bishop's mother that actually confirms one of my early theories before the series started. So originally, I'd guessed they might turn Kate Bishop's mother into the MCU version of Madame Mask, because they had this whole plot during the series about her mother being one of the secret villains, and Madame Mask is one of the longtime Kate Bishop comic book villains, so why not combine those two concepts for a bigger Shang-Chi type of WTF betrayal reveal? Like during Shang-Chi, Wen-Wu is this crazy, huge MCU villain that winds up being his parent, and it just seems like they were building up to that kind of reveal on the Hawkeye series, like, oh no, my parent is a huge MCU villain.
We've had a good relationship, haven't we, Wilson?
Yes.
I've never asked questions. I've always done what was told.
What I'd expect.
I don't know why they deleted the subplot. Maybe there were too many other scenes they didn't have time for, like flashbacks to explain what she'd been doing as Madame Mask and like why she got married to her father. There was that other story moment in episode 5 where Yelena Belova finds out about the Black Widow that had just been living a normal life. Like, no, I wasn't being mind controlled. I've been a mercenary this whole time, just living as a normal housewife. So I think that was sort of meant to play into the Kate Bishop mother reveal. Like, she seems like this normal housewife, but she secretly has this really dark past and crazy skills. They also had scenes with Kazi in his full clown makeup from the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. He's called Clown in the comics, that's his code name, but I'm assuming they got rid of it because it was also too extra or part of other scenes that they just cut for time. Or they didn't want to get sued by DC and Warner Brothers for doing a Joker parody, because he is kind of a Marvel Joker parody, as you can see, even though his personality in the comics is very different from the Joker. So when I say the Hawkeye finale kind of got WandaVisioned a little, there were just a lot of extra scenes, storylines, ideas they had when they started. Like originally on WandaVision, they were going to have Doctor Strange show up in the finale, and Darcy was going to have a lot more scenes in the finale, but she couldn't come back because of virus travel restrictions. So a lot of stuff just wound up getting left on the cutting room floor. But if they reveal any other big Hawkeye deleted scenes, any extra Kingpin or Daredevil stuff, I'll be sure to include that in future videos. Both Daredevil and Kingpin are coming back during the Echo spin-off series. I'll talk more about that when they reveal more details. I also feel like there were a lot of deleted scenes from the Echo storyline because it felt like she wasn't around as much as you expected her to be around for a character that they're doing a whole-ass spin-off for. And even though I haven't talked about this in any of my Spider-Man videos yet, Tom Holland did say that he wanted them to use Kingpin as a Spider-Man villain in future Spider-Man movies, which they can actually do now. And if it wasn't clear, Vincent D'Onofrio did confirm that his version of Kingpin during Hawkeye is meant to be the same Kingpin from the Daredevil Netflix series, and that the Marvel people who wrote his story tried to include as many references and Easter eggs and continuity connections to the Daredevil Netflix series. Like they try to make everything line up and make sense. But when he comes back during Echo and other Marvel movies Disney Plus series, there'll be a lot more connections to what happened during the Netflix Daredevil series. He wasn't really around for that many scenes in Hawkeye, so it was kind of hard to include every bit of his backstory. But because they just dropped the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer video, I'll do a bunch more videos for that and more Spider-Man No Way Home Easter eggs, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, be sure to go see it. Everyone click here for my full Hawkeye Episode 6 finale video, and click here for my full Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.